Okay, today we'll discuss about top-down parsing, and there are two techniques actually we are studying under this heading. Top-down parsing means we already come to know in the previous sessions. Top-down means moving from non-terminal to terminals. Okay, from root to leaves. That is what top-down parsing. The first approach in this discussion is recursive descent parsing. The first top-down approach technique is recursive descent parsing. See, normally when you are writing the productions are of this form: A derives B A, then B derives B. So here you know that which will be derived further, that is A and B are considered as non-terminals, and which you will not divide, that is A and B, they are terminals. Whatever see, we are considering this is LHS, this is RHS. Okay, so LHS contains only non-terminals, and RHS it is a combination of terminals and non-terminals, and which will be derived further, that is that are called non-terminals, which you can't divide further. That is A means what, B means what, that you can't able to write, is it not? So they are termed as terminals. And one more important point you please remember: tokens are nothing but terminals. Okay, in the first phase of compiler lexical analysis, what we have generated tokens are nothing but terminals. Okay, now we'll see how this recursive descent parsing works. Okay, first we'll see the algorithm, how this particular technique works. Okay, see, when we are discussing this, if you see, for each non-terminals, we are writing a procedure in recursive descent parsing. Okay, that is, we are having a non-terminal A, is it not? For that, we are writing a procedure A open brace close brace. Okay, and A is having a production, is it not? Whenever a non-terminal A you call procedure, okay, choose A's production. So A is having some particular x1, x2 up to xk. In our example, it is BA is what, x1, x2. Okay, so considering each production for each particular symbol, okay, that is we are having two symbols in this example. So I is equal to 1 to 2. Okay, if there are k symbols, it is 1 to k. Like that, you have to write the for loop. Now, see, if first symbol is a non-terminal, okay, in our example, if you see B is a non-terminal, is it not? Xi is non-terminal, then what you have to do? You have to call that procedure. Okay, for each non-terminal, we are writing a procedure. Okay, so you have to call a procedure. You have to call the procedure B. Okay, else if X is equal to the current input symbol, okay, if we are having some particular input, okay, where you wanted to try to match that token with this grammar, okay, if that is the case, it is not a non-terminal, is it not? So it will be terminal and it is equal to current input symbol. Okay, then what you have to do? You are advancing to the next token, advance the input to the next symbol, because that symbol is scanned, because it is A itself. So you will move to next. Okay, you will read the next input symbol. Like that, in each case. Okay, if that is not the case, it is error. See, please remember, in recursive descent parsing, for each non-terminal, we are writing a procedure. Procedure means what? For the production of the type A, you are called the procedure of A. A is having some production, like A is equal to x1, x2, like that. So you are verifying whether x1 is a terminal or non-terminal. If it is a non-terminal, you are calling that procedure. If it is a terminal, that is, if it matches with the input symbol, it will move to the next token. If it is not matching, then we are considering error occurred. So that is the end. Okay, this is what recursive descent parsing works. Okay, we'll see the example, then it will be clear. Let us take the first recursive descent parsing example. Let us consider S derives CAD and A is deriving AB or A. If you observe, we are having how many non-terminals in this program? We are having two non-terminals, S and A, and terminals are C, D, A, B. Okay, A. So this is what terminal. Now, this is what the given grammar, and I am having the input. Okay, that is CAD is the input. I wanted to match this with this grammar. That is what my question. Okay, I wanted to match this input to the given grammar. So how to proceed in recursive descent parsing? Okay, observe these steps carefully. The given grammar, I wanted to verify my input. How to proceed? See, first we will start with the start symbol. Yes. Yes means what? Yes means, like for each non-terminal, we are calling a procedure, is it not? Yes is the first procedure, non-terminal. Okay. Yes means what? Yes means CAD, is it not? Okay. Now we will try to match C with C. Yes, it is matching. Next, advance to next token. Next token is non-terminal. You can't match with the input symbol. Then what to do? A means what? That you have to write. Okay, I'll rewrite. CAD is what yes means. Then A means what? A means AB. Okay, is it clear? A means AB. I will substitute for non-terminal. Okay, A means AB. Okay, now we'll verify. C means C, A means A, but D is not matching with B. What to do? Okay, D is not matching with the B. Then what I'll do is I will backtrack. Okay, so what I'll do, I know that the substitution of A is not correct. Okay, I'll go back and after that I'll substitute other alternative production of A. Okay, how it looks now? See, other alternative production is this. Instead of AB, I will substitute next alternative production, that is A. Okay, now I'll try to match. C means C, A means A, D means D. Oh, it is matching. Okay, this is how recursive descent parsing works. Okay, I'll repeat. You observe. Yes, yes means CAD first. Next, A means what? A means AB. Now I will try to match. Okay, C means C, A means A, but D means B. It is not matching. So what I'll do? I'll go back. I'll backtrack. Next alternative production, I will substitute. A means A. Now once again I'll try to match. C means C, A means A, D means D. So it is correct. This is how recursive descent parsing works. You have to represent these steps. Okay, I'll take the second example. Okay, second example, same. Okay, but I'll give the input different. Instead of CAD, I'll give CABD. Okay, let us consider. Yes, yes means CAD. Okay, our input C is C, but A is non-terminal. You have to expand that. Is it not? Okay, A means what? A means I'll substitute A. Okay, first I'll substitute A instead of AB. Okay, if you substitute AB, it will match and you will end up with the correct. Instead of AB, first I will substitute A. Okay, see, observe here what happens. C means C, A means A, B means D. It is not matching. See, once again I'll repeat. In this context, C means C, A means A, but B is not matching with D. So what to do? D, I have to backtrack. Okay, see where D lies with S. So D will be backtracked to S. So what to do? S is not having any other alternative production. It will remove CAD. Okay, but S is not having any alternative position. Okay, so it end up with wrong. input is not matching with the grammar. See how recursive descent works. Okay, if you substitute initial itself in place of AB, it is perfectly correct. But I'll go with the second production. In the place of A, I will substitute other alternative, that is A. Okay, if you do that, C is matching, A is matching, but D is not matching with B. So you have to backtrack, and you will backtrack and you will end up with S. S is not having any other alternative. Okay, so this is what this recursive descent parsing. So recursive descent parsing technique is this. The outcome of recursive descent parsing is it is backtracking, and you know that any backtracking technique is it is slow down the process. For each particular wherever you find that wrong, and once again you will go back, and once again you will process that, means it is time consuming process. Second, order will make the decision, is it not? If you consider first production AB, then you will get you will end up with the correct answer. If you end up with the second production, then you will end up with the wrong answer, is it not? So recursive descent parsing is not efficient technique. Okay, even though like for each non-terminal you are writing a procedure and you are processing like that. Okay, but it is not efficient technique. And one more thing, like if you observe, see in all top-down approaches, see please remember this important, top-down approaches, you have to remove left recursion. Okay, grammar should not have left recursion. If you see the example itself, I'll show you, like whenever you are writing any production, see A derives A. Is it not? It is grammar having left recursion. Is it not? See, in the place of A, you have written the procedure. Is it not? You will call the procedure A is having the procedure A. But in the production of A, we are having once again A is a non-terminal. For that, you have to write a procedure. Is it not? So you just observe this. See, you are calling a procedure which will never come out of the loop. It will go to the infinite loop. Is it clear why we are removing left recursion in top-down approach? See, we are removing left recursion because it will make the infinite loop. Okay. So prerequisite for top-down approach is the grammar should be left factored and it should not have left recursion. Okay. Anyway, we concluded that recursive descent parsing is not efficient technique because it is having backtracking and order will make the decision. Then we will move to very important phase of top-down approach, that is LL1 grammars. You put star mark. Okay, LL1 is what we are discussing as a top-down approach. We are not giving any importance for recursive descent parsing. Our aim is LL grammars. But before discussing LL1 grammar, one more prerequisite, that is first and follow. Please give concentration for these slides. Okay, it is somewhat tricky, and how to understand that I'll take few minutes to explain one simple technique. Okay, I am not sticking to what Ullman tells. Okay, I am having some other approach. Okay, you just learn this properly. First and follow. For each grammar, see, it is irrespective of any technique, top down or bottom up, irrespective of that, for any given grammar, you can find first and follow. I am repeatedly telling that it is not belongs to any approach. Okay, for any grammar, whether it is with left recursion, without left recursion, left factored or not, irrespective of that, you can find first and follow. Okay, but why we are discussing here, that I will tell you later. Okay, first and follow. First, we will discuss how to find first in the given grammar. Okay, let us consider some gamma is equal to XYZ. Okay, now first step, first of X. See, first means which will come in front. You please remember. Okay, and you please remember once again, if the grammar is of the form LHS This is also very important. LHS derives RHS. Is it not like that we are considering? Okay, whatever the example I am telling, okay, I will follow this particular rule. This side is LHS and that side is RHS. You please remember, we are finding first for all the non-terminals which comes in LHS side. Okay, first we are finding all non-terminals which comes in LHS side. Please remember. Now, okay, how to find the first? Now, if let us consider, we have to find first of this. Okay? First of this symbol. Okay, then first of that is nothing but first of x, y, z. Okay, first of x, y, z. Okay, now see, first of x, first symbol we are considering. Okay, our interest is on this. Okay, first of x means what? First of x is x itself. If x is a terminal, if x is a terminal, first of x means x itself. Now, first of x, y, z is equal to first of x. See, please remember, first of x is equal to x itself if x is a terminal. First of x, y, z is equal to first of x if x is a non-terminal and not deriving epsilon. That is important. Okay. If it is deriving epsilon, then what? If x is a non-terminal and deriving epsilon, then first of x, y, z is equal to first of x, first symbol. Okay, first of x minus epsilon union of remaining first of y, z. Okay, first of x minus epsilon union of first of y, z. What is first of y, z? First of y, z is equal to first of y if y is a non-terminal. If y is non-terminal and not deriving epsilon means first of y. If it is deriving epsilon, it is first of y minus epsilon union of first of that. Okay. Okay. Now I'll show you the example. Then it will be clear. We'll go through one by one. You carefully follow this. I'm repeatedly telling. We are finding first for all the non-terminals in the LHS side. Okay. See, let us consider first production. One simple production. E is equal to A. Okay. We have to find all LHS non-terminals first, is it not? So we have to find first of E. First of E means what? First of E is equal to first of A. Okay. First of A. What is A? A is a terminal or non-terminal? A is a terminal, is it not? So its answer is A. Is it clear? First of E is equal to first of A. A is a non-terminal, first rule. Okay. First of E is equal to A, is it not? But A is a terminal. So your answer is that itself. Is it clear? Okay. Now, we'll take the second example when it comes. See, let us consider E derives B. B means B. So where you are to find first, you have to find first of E because which comes in LHS side. For that you have to find first, is it not? First of E, first of B. Okay. First of E is equal to first of B because it is not the answer because it is not a terminal, is it not? It is not a terminal. For that we are any doubt? Okay, I'll okay. I'll clarify your doubts later. Okay, here E derives B, B derives B. Okay, now first of E is equal to first of B. B is not a terminal, so it will not be your answer. It is not terminal, is it not? But non-terminal and it is not deriving epsilon anywhere, is it not? So answer is first of B itself. Now, what is first of B? First of B is equal to, is it not? When you are talking about first of B, first of B you have to find, and first of B is B because B is a terminal. Is it clear? First of B is equal to first of B because B is a non-terminal and not deriving epsilon. but first of B is equal to first of B, small b, that is a terminal. So that itself the answer. So when you find first of B means B, that answer itself for first of B, because first of B is equal to first of B, and that itself you can assign for that value. Okay, is it clear? When it is a non-terminal, you have to find whenever you will find the answer, because finally we want answer should be in terms of terminals. Okay, for each first of LHS side, you have to find the terminals as the answer. Okay, we'll see the third case. See this, our example, E derives AB. Okay, E derives AB, and then E derives AB, A derives B or epsilon, B derives A or epsilon. See, this is what the given question. Okay, you have to find first of E, first of A, first of B. We'll go stepwise. First of E is equal to first of AB. Is it not? You have to find first of E. That is equal to first of AB. What is first of AB? First of AB is equal to first of A, but A is a non-terminal which will derive epsilon. Is it not? It is not just a value, it is having epsilon also. Then how to represent? First of A minus epsilon union of remaining, that is first of B. Okay, that is what you have to compute. Now, after writing that, come to next step, that is first of A. What is first of A? First of A, we are having B or epsilon. So both is the answer, because both are terminals, is it not? Only terminals means writing the answer is very easy. First of A is B comma epsilon. Next, what is first of B? A comma epsilon. Okay, B comma epsilon, A comma epsilon is the answer. When you find first of A and B, you can substitute here. In the place of first of A, I will substitute B comma epsilon minus epsilon union of first of B means A comma epsilon. Now, if you observe this, B comma epsilon minus epsilon means epsilon cancels. The remaining is B. B and union of A comma epsilon means B comma A comma epsilon is what? First of AB. Okay, so first of AB is what? First of E. So your answer for E is equal to B comma A comma epsilon. Okay, B comma A comma epsilon is the answer for first of E. Okay, so this is how to find first. So you have to remember always, if X is a terminal, that itself the answer. If X is a non-terminal, you have to verify whether it will derive epsilon or not. If X is a non-terminal, deriving epsilon means first of X is the answer. If X is non-terminal and it is deriving epsilon means first of X minus epsilon union of remaining. Okay. Anyway, we'll solve many examples, then it will be clear. I'll give one production. E derives E plus T or T. T derives T star F or F. F derives open brace E close brace or ID. This is what given production. We'll solve one by one. As I told earlier, you have to find the first in the given grammar. Very important. Okay, you'll get the question like this itself. Find first and follow for the given grammar. Now we are discussing only first in the given grammar. Okay. As I told earlier itself, you have to find first for all the LHS non-terminals. Okay. Now I will solve one by one. First, just also try. First of E, you have to find out. Is it not? You have to find out first of E. So what is first of E? First of E is equal to first of E plus T. Like that, right? Okay, then it will be easy. so that each intermediate step you can clearly write, means you can understand. See, we are having two productions for E, is it not? E plus T or T. So what you have to do is first of E plus T, and you make the union. Okay, both you have to compute, is it not? So you make the sum of that. Okay, so union of first of T, first of T. Now, okay. So first of E plus T means first of E plus T means first of T it's E itself, because E is not deriving any epsilon, is it not? So it is first of E itself. E plus T is E itself, because E is a non-terminal and it is not deriving any epsilon in the given production, is it not? So you can directly write first of E plus T is equal to first of E itself. Okay, then union of first of T, that you write as it is. Okay, you give leave some gap. Okay, when you will find what is first of P, what is first of T, then you can substitute. Okay, like that, if you try first of T, first of T means what? It is the union of first of T star F, that is first of T is equal to first of T star F, right? First of T star F union of first of F. So you have to, it is the combination of two production, is it not? So both you have to write. One is T star F and another is F. Both you have to write. Now, first of T star F is equal to first of T itself, because T is not deriving any epsilon in the production, is it not? So it is first of T itself. Each step you mention clearly so that the confusion will not be there. Okay, first of T union of first of F. Important procedure, first and follow finding in the compiler. First of T union of first of F. Okay, now we'll find what is first of F. First of F is equal to, here also two productions, that is first of open brace and now of ID. Now you know that first of open brace E close brace means it is first of open brace. Open brace is a terminal, so your answer will be open brace itself. Your answer will be open brace, because that is the first symbol which is a terminal. Okay, this one is what your answer, and along with that you are also having ID. ID is also considered as a terminal. So that is what the answer. So you will find first of E. First of F means open brace, comma ID. Okay. Once you know what is first of F, okay, we will come to know first of T is equal to first of F. See the meaning. The meaning is first of T is equal to first of T is equal to first of F, and first of F is nothing but first of T. So it is nothing but open brace, comma ID, and first of T is nothing but first of P. Here also we are writing open brace, comma ID. So this is what you please remember always whenever you are writing first of E means first of E plus T, and first of E means it is first of T. Okay, uh, the entire answer for first of E is combination of both. Okay, that is what the meaning of that. Okay, once you find first of F, once you find first of F, that itself what assigned to T. Okay, and that itself what assigned to E. Okay, so E is also having the answer for all E, T, and F is open brace, comma, ID. Okay, so this is how to find first, and like that, I'll give some more problems in our Google Classroom. You try and solve that very important step in our top down or bottom up, irrespective of that, finding first and follow. Today, what we are discussing is to find the first. Okay. Next class, we'll discuss how to find follow. So this